everyone, welcome back to Simply Legal. Wow, what a week this has been. First of all, a lot has been happening all over the globe and it's still happening all over the globe. However, I bring you news from Uganda today and especially in the legal world. First of all, we have what are called international sanctions, and our very own former IGP, who is Inspector General of Police, who is General Kayihura, has been sanctioned by the UK government. As much as I would like to cry with this fellow or individual, I would also like to claim to you the views of Simply Legal and the rest of the world to what sanctions are. Now, this came in the wake of just even 3 years ago, the US government had also lodged sanctions just against Mr. Kayihura, or may we call him General Kayihura, in Uganda. Now, many may be asking, how do sanctions affect Uganda? Let me first give a definition of what a sanction is. A sanction is a threatening or an ultimatum of sorts, measure, a strict measure that is put on a certain particular country or a person. I'll give you an example. In the previous government of Idi Amin, that was back in the 1970s, Idi Amin violated human rights so grossly and immensely, and therefore sanctions were put on the then president, who was Idi Amin Dada. Now, these sanctions went to political sanctions, economic sanctions, and these include embargoes. So generally Uganda was under lockdown. However, it also came to light that sanctions can also be put on an individual. I actually did not know that, to be honest. However, like us lawyers and the rest of the world need to know, learning is always a process and it continuously happens. Therefore, the UK government, which is the United Kingdom government, has put sanctions on General Kayihura. What may you be asking for? General Kayihura is accused of, when he was in office from 2005 to 2018, it is claimed by both the US and UK government that he violated human rights, and therefore he did not pay attention to things like freedom of torture of people. For example, in the 2010 bombings that we had in Uganda, for those of you who may not know what those were, we have a place called Chadolo in Uganda, and 2010 there was a very huge bombing which really saddened the country. At that time, suspects were arrested and these suspects were tortured. Now, even when a person is tortured, he or she has a right to not to be tortured, or any other citizen has a right not to be tortured. These are all enshrined under the Constitutional Republic of Uganda 1995 as amended. Now, I've stated these laws many times all over Simply Legal, but I'd like to take you to what exactly a sanction is. Now, many of you, older viewers, may have been there at the time when Idi Amin Dada was the current ruler of the Republic of Uganda. Sanctions were lodged against him so much under the state of Uganda that we went into economic depression. Therefore, Uganda had to come up, I think, up until the 1990s in President Yoweri Museveni's government, when the economy came back to life. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for that. Now, what do sanctions mean on a particular person? According to the facts of the sanction that has just been lodged on General Kayihura, it means that he can no longer transact with any UK bank. He is banned from attending any UK event. He is banned from stepping on UK soil, meaning that anything concerning Kayihura and the UK is totally off. So international law has developed in that sanctions are now lodged even on a person. It doesn't necessarily have to be a state. Now, what are the types of sanctions? Sanctions are political sanctions, we have economic sanctions, we have generally sanctions. Let me just re-give the definition. A sanction is a strict measure that is put on a particular country or a person because of a wrong act or a violation of something that they have done in the past. So therefore, with all the facts of this particular matter, that means that Kayihura is being accused of misusing his office while he was there. Now, we all know the Western world for being a big brother or a watcher for violation of human rights of people all over the globe. Many times they tend to say that our African leaders tend to destroy or disrupt human rights of people. Many times this may not be true, but given the different facts of the case, they have stated that even when General Kayihura was in office, from the 2006 elections, the 2011 elections, and the walk-to-work demonstration that we had from General Kiza Besigye, basically everything concerning that, Kayihura has been given a sanction on, or he has been sanctioned by the UK government on these allegations. Now, what's the legal side, you may be asking? There is no particular international law that talks about sanctions. However, it's stated that sanctions, the moment a country has decided to put sanctions on a certain person, that country is within its right under international law to put sanctions on this person. Now, international law gives every country sovereignty Now, for those who might not be lawyers or who may not know about what sovereign is, so it means that every country has a right to put sanctions on a particular person. Every country has a right to do whatever it wants to whoever should be coming into their country. So basically, all in all, I would say the UK, yes, has a right under its sovereignty and under its laws to say, we do not want Terry Kahuma in our country anymore. We do not want General Kale Kayihura in our country anymore because he has been violating human rights. Human rights is a very, very deep-seated issue all over the world. And many times, even United Nations conventions and charters on human rights, on freedom of torture, have always come up to defend the rights of people in any circumstance. So in most cases, by the time a leader leaves office, then immediately many countries that have been waiting to pounce on that person come to light. So I wanted to give you a brief on what these sanctions mean. And finally, I would say that these sanctions do not mean anything for Uganda. Reason why: if the sanction has been put on a particular person, that does not mean that this person is representative of the country. So if the sanction has been put on Kale Kayihura, it doesn't mean that this whole place of Uganda is being affected. No, this sanction is for only Kale Kayihura. Now, his lawyers have the right to defend him in the best way possible, and I think they're going to defend him either in the UK courts or under international law. So, thanks so much for listening to me, everyone. I wanted to bring you the latest on legal news and to be able to help you understand whether these sanctions mean anything big for Uganda or they just mean anything big for individual. I think the laws that will be able to defend Kale Kayihura, because they would have to now do things in accordance with the UK jurisdiction. Because according to the facts of the matter of Kale Kayihura that I was reading, is that even his assets that are linked to him in the UK government are also frozen. So meaning any assets that he has in the UK, bank accounts, anything monetary related are being frozen in the UK. So they will have to defend any issue concerning Kale Kayihura in the UK government. Well, according to international law and the law is a bit funny, so they might even fight things here in the Ugandan government. All in all, I think it's not right to violate human rights, in whatever office you are. I'm not saying the allegations are true, but if you are violating people's rights, or maybe you're holding a big office and things are happening in your let's say in your docket, and you can be able to stop the violation of these rights, I would say that it would be incumbent upon you to be able to defend these people's rights without you having to move out of office and then you're having sanctions put on you. So, thanks so much for listening to me, everyone. I mean, yours truly, Terry Kahuma, and I'll see you next time. Bye.